Hey, what's going on, chess lover? This is Maurice Bishop Chess, and y'all know my slogan, life is a game of chess. Hey guys, I have a beautiful Elshad System game for white that I want to share with y'all. I played against a UCK. I think it was rated like 2183. I actually took y'all to the analysis because it's not going to allow me to move the pieces like I want to. So I just wanted to share with y'all different variations and stuff. So without further ado, let's actually get started because y'all definitely gonna learn something. All right, so obviously, guys, I played as white. So I play C3. This is pretty much what I play. C6 is played. Queen A4. Um, D5 is played, and I want to be able to take this off. Sorry, guys. I want to be able to take this. I don't think it's going to allow me self-analysis. There we go. Self-analysis. All right. So D5, G4, Knight F6, and I go H3. And obviously, guys, I go H3 because I want to make sure that the threat is better than the actual attack. And I guess what I mean by that, guys, is by me having this threat of G4 and G5, it's going to make black feel very uncomfortable. For all y'all that don't know about how the whole purpose of the Elshad system, number one, when we play C3 and then Queen A4, your opponent is going to think that you're like a beginner. They're going to think you're like a patzer or whatever. So they're going to think that, you don't know what you're doing and you're just bringing your queen out just to bring your queen out. Little do they know that this so-called beginner opening, as they perceive it to be, actually has a very strong attack and everything. And we actually do break a lot of the principles because we don't attack in the center, but the whole purpose for white is to control the light squares and create weaknesses in the king and actually get some play, some active play. All right. So A6 is what he played because obviously he was nervous about this G4, G5, so he gets real nervous. And I played D3. The whole purpose of D3, guys, is to go knight, really from knight B to D2, and then also go knight F1. But we can't go there yet until we go bishop G2. So E5 is played, bishop G2, and then bishop D7. And notice, guys, what he's doing is he's actually trying to gain enough space in the center of the board, thinking that, this will be perfect for him. He will control the center and maybe punish me for having my queen out so early in the board. So that's the whole purpose of it. So I go knight B to D2. And of course, like a typical opponent, they will try to harass your queen, which is what he did. By him doing this, there's a little issue with this position. The issue is after queen b3, now I'm hitting the d5 pawn with bishop d5. Also, this queen on b3 is also hitting the undefended pawn on b7, which becomes a problem because now he's starting to create weaknesses in his pawn structure. But also, a lot of times we could play a move like c4, where if the pawn takes, we could go knight captures c4, and it would be very hard to get this knight off of this c4 post. Even if you thought about the a6, trying to push the knight away with b5, we can stop this automatically with pawn a2 to a4. So obviously black doesn't want that. So he goes bishop c6. And this leaves the light square bishop in an awkward position because he's really defending the b7 pawn and the d5 pawn, and it's just very awkward placed, pretty much. So I actually punished him for that by going c4. So I still open it up either way, and it probably wasn't a move that he thought that I was going to do. And obviously, guys, he doesn't want to go d captures c4 because of knight captures c4. I mean, obviously not now, guys. Obviously, we don't want to do that yet. But we literally will go bishop captures c6 first. Again, if knight captures c6, we do have queen captures b7. Obviously, I'm hitting the undefended knight. If rook c8, then we have knight captures c4. And again, it's going to be pretty hard to get this knight off of c4. Even if you thought about trying to exchange the knights, where the queen could take, we still have queen b5 check, and then this knight will actually be lost. So he actually will drop the piece. So again, this would be very hard to get this knight off of c4. All right, so moving right along. So again, after c4, my opponent actually goes d4. When he goes d4, I go bishop captures c6. I don't know why he didn't go b captures c6. Probably because he didn't want the double pawns, and he probably thought that either way it still was going to be bad. So he goes knight captures c6. I go queen captures b7. He protects with rook c8, and then I go knight f3. After bishop d6, I go knight f1 because I definitely want to go knight g3. And eventually, I could hit maybe knight f5, maybe knight h5, or maybe knight e4, having putting my knight to a nice square. My opponent castles, obviously, and then I go knight g3. Rook c7, of course. Like I said, this is a lot of this is pretty much typical because a lot of opponents are going to harass your queen, because especially when you're playing a blitz or a bullet game, that's what they're going to do. I do go queen a6. I think this was an inaccuracy for myself. The best move probably would have been queen b3. I really felt as though queen b3 was a lot better, because then I could go queen d1 if need be, just so I could somehow get to the king side. Knight b4, I go queen b, and see, this was another reason why queen b3 was a better, because I didn't have to worry about him getting any type of tempo. He tried to do some, some slick stuff. I mean, obviously, I can still take this queen, and even if he goes knight c2 check, I could still, like, for instance, let me show you something. So I think he was probably thinking was queen captures knight c2, but after king d1, I still have my queen, so he still has to take my queen. And then once he take my queen, then I would still take this knight. So it wouldn't really matter at this point. So after I go queen captures e8, which is pretty much what I did anyway, he takes and I just castle. Obviously the engine wanted me to go king d1, and it probably could have been better, but I didn't. I just castled. E4, D captures E4, and knight catches E4. I thought this was an inaccuracy on his part, because I think the best move for him would have probably been bishop captures G3. But again, guys, when it comes to the Elshad, nobody is not going to play perfect opening moves. Nobody plays like an engine. Even super grandmasters, when they play against the Elshad, they don't play perfect moves and everything, which is another reason why I like playing this opening, because nobody really makes perfect moves. And in Elshad, it's easy to try to find some tactics and everything once you get the concept of it. So that's just my opinion for me. But yeah, even after he takes, he could go knight captures e4. But I do get a tempo off the rook by going bishop f4. So for white, it's still not bad either way. It's not bad at all. Yeah, I had double pawns, but it's not bad. I got a lot of activity. All right. So let's go back. So e4. So after d captures e4, my opponent goes knight catches e4, and so instead of taking the knight, I actually go knight f5. I wanted to put my knight to a better square, so that's why I went knight f5, hitting the dark square bishop. He actually blundered by going bishop e5, which is why I go knight captures e5. When he took, I just went bishop f4, so I forked, or really like a skewer or fork. I don't know which one you call. I think it's a fork, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, guys, bishop f4. Obviously, he's going to lose one of his rook, so I'll win the exchange. Rook e7. I take. Rook captures e5. I really thought he should have just resigned already, but obviously he didn't. So I just go a3. Knight c6, and I go b4 automatically. Obviously, guys, he's kind of forced to take this pawn, because if not, either I'm going to take, or I could maybe go b5 and then a4 with pass pawns, which is very deadly, especially because I'm up a rook and everything, so it looks very bad on this part. So he takes a catches b4, knight catches b4. I did go rook catches a7, but I kind of thought maybe I probably should have just did knight catches d4 first, only due to the fact that the knight can't get to c2. Obviously, the rook can't chase my knight away because I have my pawn on c4 already here. So I thought this would have been actually a smarter move. I think at this time we were getting close to running out of time, but I still kept my composure. And so yeah, knight f5. I take a3, b4. He takes, and then rook catches a7. So after rook catches a7, he actually goes knight d2. I could have went rook d1, but I actually had a plan. I go check first, king h7, and then I go rook a1. I know that he didn't really have any major threats around my king. I actually understand. I feel as though I understood the position a lot better than he did. Especially after he goes knight c2, I thought that was just a waste because you just helped me get to the 7th rank, and that's even more dangerous in itself. So after rook catches e2, this was pretty much over. After rook catches f7, yes, he could have got me in check, but to me, it's not going to really do too much at all. I mean, you could go knight e3 and then king g3, but then you don't really have anything after that. You just kind of like just making moves and everything. So it just really not going to help his position at all, especially because the fact that I am threatening rook catches g7 checkmate, which is a one move mate. So that's something that I am threatening. So that's something that he really has to be careful of. All right, so yeah, let's go back. So after rook catches e2, rook catches s7, he goes king g6 because he knew that it was about to be a one move mate with rook catches g7 because my rook was controlling that square. So he had to go g6. So after rook catches g7 check, he goes king f6, and I go rook f8 check. He goes king e5, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all guys. I found the mate, but I did a mouselet. Because I saw it right away. This wasn't the rook I was trying to move. I was actually trying to move this rook e7 check move. This is the move that I was trying to go for. Obviously, uh, it kind of jacked up or whatever. But the move that I saw was after this check, if he goes king f4, because my pawn is here, he can't get to none of these dark squares. And then by my rook being on this file, he's not going to be able to get to this f3 file. So the move is knight h4 check. Obviously, the only move he can go to is g5, and then after rook f5 check. Obviously, he can't go g6 because the knight on h4 is here. So the only move he has is king captures h4, and then rook h5 is checkmate. So that was what I saw, but for some reason, when I did a pre-move, I tried to hit the thing right away, but instead of moving the other rook, it actually I know instead of moving this rook for some reason it took this rook. So I don't know, it just kind of messed up, but that's okay though. I still had another way, or I still had to improvise. So after king f4, and that was the whole purpose of me with the rook here, and I was trying to move this rook. So I was kind of pissed off about it, but that's okay. So anyway, after the king f4, I just went rook catches e2. He goes d3. I go rook catches d2, knight b4, and then knight d6. Um, King e5, knight b5, and I go knight b5 because my c4 pawn is already here, so I'm controlling these squares, which is what I was doing. And then after king e4, rook e7 check, he goes king f3, and I think this is when I was kind of like running out of time, guys. So I go knight d4 check, king f4, king g2, just trying to close them all in. And after knight c2, I did a mistake. I went rook f7, The move that I wanted to do was rook captures on d3. This is the move I was going for. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I was just screwing this thing all up though. But eventually, guys, he wound up losing on time. Um, that's pretty much what happened. But yeah, after e5, knight f3. Um, yeah, I was just running out of time. But then he actually ran out of time. But obviously, guys, if you looked at the position, I actually had this thing won. Um, the position would have pretty much went this way, king f4, and after rook captures d3. Obviously, he wouldn't have really no moves left because after h5, this is pretty much checkmate. So that's pretty much what I was going for, and that's how it was going to end, just like this. Um, but yeah, that was the L shot, man. Like for real, that was the L shot. This was a very interesting game. I liked it. I was still pissed off about my mouse slip on that because I thought that was going to be like awesome, guys. After that move, definitely remember these moves, guys. Rook capture g7, rook f8. Not this move because that was a mouse slip thing or a mistake. But this was the move. This was the move that I saw. I thought this was a beautiful mate. After King G5, Rook F5, he takes and then checkmate. So I wish I would have said that, guys. This is how it did end, but it didn't, or whatever. But I mean, it's all good. But I just wanted to share with y'all, how it was supposed to play. But like I said, I still won a game and everything. This still was I still like this Elshad game, so I still like it. I hope y'all do too. If y'all have any other questions, I hope I explained myself clear to y'all about a lot of the tactical stuff and position, the concept of the Elshad. If y'all have any other questions, definitely drop a comment below. Definitely like, share, comment. Let me know what you think about this, guys. And also, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, guys. Peace.